Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a long time, but I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, like being a new mom. The last video I posted was like a 30-week update, and it seems like time just flew by after that. But I wanted to share my labor and delivery story because a lot of people ask me questions, so I was just like, I might as well just make a video on it and put it out there. But I know labor and delivery is different for everybody. If you're pregnant and expecting, you cannot base my story or anybody else's story to go off of, because it happens differently for everybody. Now, getting into it, I tried to do it by the books. Everyone told me to have a plan, have my bags packed, and do all that. So that's what I did. I had my bags packed and stuff, but I thought that I would go into my doctor's and he would be like, okay, we're gonna induce you this evening, or you'll be having a baby by tonight, something like that, something along the lines of that. And that is not how it happened at all. Okay, so my baby was due April 15th. Her name is Araya. She was due April 15th, and it was April 1st, April Fool's. I put a post on Facebook and I tagged my boyfriend and I was like, our baby comes this month. Like, not joking, but I guess joking, because it was April 1st. Didn't think nothing of it. So throughout the day, I had been having Braxton Hicks for a long time, and Braxton Hicks are pretty much practice contractions. So I was used to them. They weren't bad, they hadn't gotten worse, they were just more. I was just having them more. Like, we went to the stores and stuff April 1st. We went to the stores and stuff that morning, and I was walking and I was having to take so many breaks because I was cramping. I was having contractions. Like, I was like, hold on, let's break. But I thought it was just because I was overdoing my body. I was doing too much. So I really didn't put no thought into it. Well, it rolls around to 6 that evening, April 1st, and they start getting a little worse. They start getting more intense, but not screaming intense, not where it made me worry, but just way more intense than they were. So I was like, okay, I'm finna start timing these. So about 8:15, I grab a notebook and a pen and I start writing down every time I have a contraction. And right now they're about 20 minutes apart. They're ranging from 20 to 25 minutes apart. So I'm like, this is probably just Braxton Hicks. This is nothing. Like, here we go again. Because I had so many like scares, thinking, because you don't know, it was my first pregnancy. So of course every little pain I felt, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm about to have this baby. And everybody kept telling me I was gonna have her early. So I was like, I was over it by this point. I was like, she's not coming early. She's gonna come after her due date. Like, she's gonna stay in there and be stubborn. So it was about 10 o'clock at night, and my contractions were 7 minutes apart. 7 to 5 minutes apart. They kept going back and forth. They would be 5 minutes, and then they'd be 7 minutes, and then they'd be 5 minutes, and then they'd be 7 minutes. So I was like, okay, they're not 2 minutes apart, but they're also staying like at 7 and 5. Like, they're not going from 7 to 20, because that's what I would usually do. They'd get really close and then they get apart, and they were just never like in a pattern. But this time they were in a pattern. So I was like, oh shit. So I just started eating anything that was in the house. So I started eating like grapes, the little Boston Eclair things. I was eating those, chips. I was drinking a kiwi strawberry what's the cartoon's name? Donald Duck. It was the little duck from Looney Tunes, but I was drinking his juice. It was kiwi strawberry. I remember that so vivid. And I was like, these hurt. And by this point, I was talking to my boyfriend, and every time I had a contraction, they shut me up. I was like, hold on. And I would squeeze the bed really tight, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, just like trying to rock and moan it out. So that's when I was like, oh, this might be getting real. Now, I had an appointment the next day at my OBGYN's office for my 38-week checkup. So I didn't want to go to the hospital and then get told, oh, just go home and wait till you see your doctor tomorrow, because that's what I was pretty sure they were going to do. So it's about 12 now, and they're really intense. Like, they still shut me up when they come. I'm still like grabbing and squeezing stuff, and I'm just looking at my boyfriend, and he's like, is this real? Are you being dramatic? Like, what's going on? Because I am very dramatic. So I was like, let's take a shower. So me and him get in the shower together because I was not gonna take one by myself. We take showers together all the time anyways, but anyways. We get in the shower together and I turn on the hot water and I'm not in there for maybe 2 minutes before I am bent over in the shower and I cannot move. I'm like, oh, call the hospital, call the hospital, call the hospital. So he turns off the water, helps me get out the shower, and I'm trying to like waddle to the room at this point because I have this urge like I'm going to shit myself. That's literally what it felt like. I felt like I was going to crap myself. So I was like waddling to the hallway and I was like, wait, I need to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't move. Like it just stopped me and I was just grabbing door handles and walls and I was like, oh, call the hospital. They are doing yard work outside of my apartments. But anyways, I was like, call the hospital. So we get to the room and I'm sitting on the bed and I'm like, my legs are pretty much like open at this point and I'm just back like this and I'm like, woo. And he calls the hospital labor and delivery unit and he's like, hello, my girlfriend is contracting, she is pregnant. And I'm like, nigga, like, oh my gosh. And of course, since it's being my first baby, the hospital, I mean, I know it's their job not to make things a bigger deal than what it is, but they were really nonchalant and they were like, well, if they're not 5 minutes apart consecutively, I don't know that word, but you know what I'm trying to say. If they're not 5 minutes apart, if they're not in a pattern, like, then don't worry about it. Try turning on your side. And I'm like, I grabbed the phone and I feel like I'm going to shit myself. Like I have the urge to push. Like I feel like I'm about to shit myself. Well, did any water break? No, my water never broke. I was like, no, like, but I feel like I'm about to shit myself. They're making me stop talking. They say if the contractions are so strong, they take your breath, then you need to come in. That I can't. They were like, okay, just come on in. What's your name? I told her Michaela. So we throw on anything. I mean, I threw on anything. I did not care what I looked like. Nothing. Didn't bring the hospital bags because I was so sure they were going to send me home the way they were talking to me. And I was like, let's just go. So I'm like waddling to the car. It's 2 a.m. now. It's like dark outside and we lived in different apartments. But I'm waddling and I'm like screaming outside and I'm like, woo, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, moaning and everything. And my boyfriend, like he's kind of getting scared at this point. He don't want to say it, but he's looking at me like, oh my gosh, like she's really in pain. So we get to the hospital and of course they have the doors locked, I guess because of the time it was, I'm not sure, but there's 2 security guards like on duty just sitting at the desk. And I waddle in and I have to bend over onto a chair because I had a contraction and I was trying to do my breathing, and they're just sitting there looking like, they literally just looked. And so that pissed my boyfriend off and he was like, she needs to be upstairs, she's in labor, and he's like, almost gets into it with them. But I mean, they were really shitty at their job. Like they literally just were staring, like didn't try to get me a wheelchair or nothing. So then these nurses rush out and give me a wheelchair and roll me back to this table, and I'm sitting here doing all this paperwork while I'm having contractions. Like they're sitting here asking me, Michaela Renee Perkins, and this is Brandon Walker, and 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 I'm like, I'm having a baby here, like come on. So I was just in pain trying to answer all their questions. They get me on a bracelet, they get me upstairs. I had to give my password because when you're on the labor and delivery floor, you can only get back there to the person you're trying to see if you have their password. So I give them my password and I go on back and they hook me up to this machine to be monitored. And at the time I was a 2. I had been dilated 2 centimeters for about 2 weeks. So that was like nothing. So while I'm laying there and being observed, it's about an hour passes and I'm only to a 3. So they were like, this is your first baby. It's gonna go really slow, everything. And I'm just like, oh, I still feel like I'm going to shit myself. Like, that's just the only thing I could get out because that's what it felt like. Like, I was so scared I was going to crap everywhere. So I just kept saying that. And she was like, that's normal. It's just a baby. opening and the pressure on your tailbone, all that. So I was like, okay. Well, another hour passes, and that would put me at 4. Yes, another hour passes and I'm at 4. So I'm screaming at this point. I'm no longer like I'm no longer moaning. I'm screaming at this point. I'm like crying. I'm looking at my boyfriend. I'm telling him like, I cannot do this. Like, this hurts so bad. Like, I'm like crying, and they come in there, and she's looking at my thingies, and my boyfriend's like, are we gonna be staying or something? He has something like that. And she was like, she's about to have a baby. Y'all are staying. So his eyes got really big, and he was like, oh crap. And that is my little one right there. 1 sec. So I look at him. Sorry, we're back now. So I look at him, and I'm like, call my mama. So they're rolling me into the labor, and actually the labor and delivery room, the room you put in, it's like a little suite. They call it a suite. I'm just screaming in the hallways, like, ah, like I'm just screaming. It was just a horrible, horrible pain. So they get me there and get me onto the bed, get me hooked up to the IVs and all that. And they check me, and now I'm at a 4. I'm at 4 centimeters dilated. So they're like, okay, this is gonna go slow. They're telling me all the hospital rules, the bracelet she's gonna have and stuff like that. So they're just talking to me, and I'm still screaming, and I'm asking for my epidural because, yes, I wanted that from day one. Well, I was going to try to do it natural, but heck no, that wasn't happening. I wanted my epidural. So I was like, where's the doctor or something like that? And she was like, okay, honey, we're going to check you. And they checked me again, and I was at a 4 still. And he came in and gave me my epidural. And he was like, all right, you're going to have about 2 or 3 more bad contractions before it actually kicks in. And I'm like sitting here like mad. Like, what the fuck sorry, girl. What do you mean I'm going to have 2 or 3 bad more contractions before it kicks in? What are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, what do you mean I'm going to have 2 or 3 bad more contractions before it kicks in? I needed to kick in now. So, oh my goodness, you're slobbering all over mommy. This is Araya. But so I was like, okay, whatever. And then he gave me my epidural, they laid me back, and she had this look on her face, like, doctor. And the other nurse looked at her. She's like, what, is she not dilated? And she was like, no, she's at a 10 and she's ready to push. And this was after they had just checked me, and I was only at a 4. So I went from a 4 to a 10 in a matter of minutes. Like, this little girl was ready to come on up out of there. So now everyone, they try not to show that they panicking, but they panicking because the doctor was not there yet. So they're like, get the doctor on the phone, da 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 da. I look at my boyfriend, I'm like, call my mom and tell her to hurry up, because she was still like 15 minutes away. I was like, tell her to hurry up, step on it. She gotta go, she gonna miss it. So he called her, and he calls my mama, and he's like, mama, they said she's at a 10 and she's ready to push. You gotta get here now. And she was like, oh my gosh, I was praying for her to have a fast delivery, but not that fast. Tell her to wait on me. I'm like, girl, this baby finna come out. You better come on. So I'm just sitting there waiting for my epidural to kick in. It still hasn't kicked in yet. I'm still feeling everything. And my mom, I hear my name out in the hallway, like, Michaela Perkins. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So my mom, my neighbor just waved at me, but my mom walks into the room, and she walked in at the same time my doctor walked in. And so she barely made it. Her and my doctor walked in at the same time. And the doctor, like, I was already, spread like an eagle. So the doctor was like, I'm going to break your water, because my water never broke. And then she broke it, and you know how if you have had a baby, they do the 10, 9, 8, 7, and you got to, like, bear down that whole time. So I did 2 of those, so I don't know, I wouldn't call it 2 pushes, but I guess 2 pushes, because they tell you to bear down. Well, that's what she told me. And it was just like my body kind of knew what to do, because I really thought I wouldn't know what to do. But it was like my body knew what to do, and she popped out of there like really fast. I was happy that she was out of there, because girl, you was hurting. But she popped out of there really, really fast, and I was just so relieved. My epidural kicked in while I was pushing. So, like, mid me pushing, yeah, that's when I stopped feeling everything. And I was like, okay. And then my body just kind of took its course and did what it needed to do. But, I did not tear any on the inside. I think I tore on the outside. I had to have 2 stitches, 1 on each side. But after that, it was just really resting. You know, you gotta do the afterbirth and all that, but that wasn't, as I didn't even feel none of that. I honestly didn't even see it. I'm weird. I wanted to see my placenta, but I didn't even see it. Like, I was just worried about her, honestly. And she was a little white thing. I mean, she's still pretty light, but she was a white baby. I was like, oh, girl, yikes. But I'm not dark myself, so it was just funny. But she looked just like her daddy when she came out, but now she's kind of getting her own sense of look. I don't think she looks like me that much, but everybody says they can kind of see me in her. A lot of people say she looks like my little sister, which I would agree. She looks very much like my little sister. Look at that baby. Look at that baby. Look at her. But, whew. And then after that was just, the healing and, you know, getting to know my baby, skin to skin, letting her latch, because I do breastfeed. And, the going to the bathroom for the first time is what scared me, because I do not like anything burning when I pee. I don't like that. So I already knew from the jump it was gonna burn. I had watched plenty of other labor and delivery stories, so I already knew it was gonna burn, and I was like, man. So, but it wasn't that bad, honestly. But swelling and the healing process, I hate it. But I've always hated like periods and stuff, so that for me was like, but breastfeeding helps you heal and get all that out and stuff. So I credit this little one for helping me heal so quickly. But it was rough. After the postpartum healing, it was rough. I didn't even want to look at my boyfriend in a sexual way, honestly. I was like, like, after everything I just went through, don't touch me. And then but I got over that. But yeah, so now Araya will be 2 months next week. Yes, she will. She's gonna be a big girl. Don't know how big you are. You look so cute. You look so cute. But baby talk. But we're doing great now. Being a new mom is hard, but that's another video I'll get into. But I hope everyone enjoyed my labor and delivery story. I love hearing other people's labor and delivery stories and watching them. So I hope, girl, you drew on me. But I hope everyone enjoyed mine. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to be a part of the BAMFAM, please like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys next time. Say bye-bye, Rara. Say bye-bye. Bye, guys.